All right, for my PC fellas that want to dial in their settings perfectly, I'm just going to give a quick overview about all the settings. And the first thing that we're going to do actually isn't even in the settings, it's in the game file. So before you boot the game up, go to your files, go to your documents, go to My Games, Rainbow Six Siege, and then you should have something that looks similar to this. This is just your game file. Click that, go into game settings. You're going to go down, scroll down until you find, past it, mouse sensitivity multiplier. Yours will naturally say like 0.02. Change it, add an extra 0, so 0.002300. And I'll explain what that does in a minute. And then you would save this file. So just save it like it is. Then you can boot up your game. Now, when you get into your game, I'll just explain that more later. All right, your general is all up to you. You know, you probably want pings on. You want most of these settings like this, diffuser pickup, both, because again, like you might want to pick it up from a distance, so you might want to grab it, or if you just run over it so you don't have to like look away, do that. I run dark glare just because the white is bright, especially when it's dark in my room. Drone after prep needs to always be on manual. Match replay on. I mean, that's always good to have if you want to go back and look at the games. Text channel I keep on all. You might not want to see text, whatever. All of this is kind of what you feel like doing. HUD, I keep it on custom, but I pretty much have everything on. Like there's a couple things that I turn off, like stance indicator, because I don't need that little icon in the bottom that shows me like if I'm crouching or prone. I probably should have some more of this stuff off, but I don't really mess with this stuff very much. Now I have reload reminder off. I can see how many bullets I have. I don't need that. Like teammate outlines, just because I have the thing over their head that lets me see them, but like I don't want to see them glowing through the wall because there might be an enemy that's in between that and I mistake the enemy for my teammate and don't kill them, so I turn that off. A little bit easier to distinguish, but you got to get used to that. So, and yeah, the versus update, so like if you kill somebody, the big, it'll be like 4v5 on the screen that pops up. It takes up a lot, it's distracting. I turn that off. So yeah, I don't like, and this just tells you how many drones have been destroyed. I don't really need to know that either, so a lot of that's off. Audio is important. Night mode, you want night mode. Night mode makes it so that all sounds, whether it's an explosion, footsteps, or a drone moving, are amplified to about the same range. So night mode is the best if you want to be able to hear good. Master volume, I keep at 100. SFX at 100. In-game music, I keep all the way down. If you want a little music, you can bump it up a little bit, but try to keep it like below 15, 20, just where you can barely hear it. It's distracting, and you might hear music over footsteps. Menu SFX volumes at 100. Menu music, of course, I don't listen to music. Put it at 0. Voiceover volume, you don't get it much, but you know sometimes it'll say some things, and I just don't want that like blaring in my ear. I don't want to hear that. Voiceover presets, I put it on gameplay focus, so I only get important notifications as far as what's going on. Like I don't need everything to be told to me like what's going on. I play the game, I understand how it works. I keep it on stereo, and obviously you set up how you want it. I change my voice chat all the time depending on who's in the game with me, how loud their mic is, so this is always going to change, but I keep push to talk on. And I'll even go over my keybinds. You can copy mine, but they're a little harder to use. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, voice chat input sensitivity, that's how much your mic needs to pick up before the game hears you. It's just, this is what I run. You can run similar. Here is your information. You see I'm only using my 4070 Ti for this game, because why would I break the bank on a game that doesn't need it? I'm running it in 2K on borderless. Now, I run borderless because I jump back and forth to my other monitor. I would say if you don't have multiple monitors, run this on full screen. 120 hertz, it's capped off 120 hertz because I'm running on borderless. If I was full screen, I could jump that up to 240 hertz because that's what my monitor can run. But I'm capping myself because I stream. Trying to find a workaround for that. Aspect ratio, normally it's set to 16.9, which is your normal display. I like running 1610 because professionals often run 4:3, and that's like super stretched, but it helps to give you like a oh, what do you call it? Like you can see more on the screen. That's a lot more detail. So a hit is going to appear much wider, so it's easier to hit. I think 1610 is only slightly stretched, and it gives you a little bit better than 16.9. Like it just stretches it a little bit, makes it a little easier to hit some targets. VSync off always. FPS limit, you don't want to be capped. Turn that off. Widescreen letterbox, I keep it off just because I don't need that. Field of view, Carlins was right. Anywhere between 84 to 90. I like having it all the way at 90, and the higher your FOV is, things on your screen in the middle get a little smaller. However, to combat that, if I am spawn peeking somewhere far away or I'm peeking at a very long angle, I can change this. Like I can just go into my settings and slide it down to 60, and then it zooms me right back in. When I go super sniper mode, I go into 4.3 60 FPS and then or 60 FOV, and then you like I can show you what that looks like later on, but it's a crazy zoom. But I might cover some of these the way they look in game in a minute. HUD display area, I keep that a little smaller than my full screen just because I don't know, it brings it closer to the middle. Same thing with the menu, as you can see all right here. It's in the middle of my screen. I could set it to where it's all the way out, but I don't. I just like it having sandwiched in the middle. It's small. I don't need it big. Brightness, adjust the brightness based off of what you got going on. Don't want to make any changes here. Okay, quality. So NVIDIA low latency, I guess it's on. I don't really know much about what this does, but I run custom. So it's texture quality. I want it to be ultra because I want... Well, I want most of what I'm seeing to be really good quality. This is just the way that it textures things for you. Your graphics card, whatever it recommends is probably best for your graphics card. But some things that run on medium. For instance, the shadings. Like I don't need really dark shadows because enemies can hide in those shadows and make it harder for me to see them. I keep it on medium just because I do want some shading. Same thing with the shadows. Like I don't know why it's on very high because normally I'd be running it on medium, but I want to see shadows, but I don't also want to risk FPS seeing high definition shadows, like just minimum amount of shadows. So medium's fine on that. Reflections, same thing, medium, because I'm not looking into reflections for details. If you're wanting the game to look beautiful, run ultra everything. If you're wanting to get max performance, good FPS, good gameplay, run most medium high settings. Like some things you can even turn to low. I change this stuff all the time too. I keep most of this off just because, again, I don't want it to run all these effects. I don't need the game to look realistic and beautiful. I'm not aiming for that. I'm aiming for good gameplay. I keep TAA 4 times. Anti-aliasing, it's a weird thing. Just, again, whatever your computer recommends, it's probably the best. FPS, I have it where it's maxed out, so this doesn't matter. Render scaling, again, I keep that low to 25. I don't want to overwork my graphics card, and I don't need to. And the sharpness is 60 just because I do want it to look decent, right? Okay, cool. No, I'll change whatever I want later. Drone speed boost is I keep it on hold. I don't want to have to press the button. It starts speed boosting and press the button and turn it off. Hold is just easier. And that's going to be what I use for most things. Okay. We changed that in-game setting, and this is where your sensitivity here is going to matter. So on default settings 0.023, you would run 8 and get where like what the sensitivity I'll have in game is. That'll be set to 8. However, me adding that extra 0 gives it the extra 100th of a boost, so I run 88, which is actually more like 8.8. It just allows you to dial in your settings a little bit more than jumping straight from 8 to 9, because 8 to 9 you can feel that difference running on default settings. Running like this, I can now do 8.1 to 8.2, which is like you almost can't feel that difference, but you can if you're trying to dial in your settings to perfection. So that's the reason why I run that like this. I run 88. Obviously, you know, you might want higher, lower sensitivities, and then mouse DPI comes into play. So your mouse has its own settings and stuff that you can download. So I run 3 different DPIs, and DPI. So this is just me zigzagging based off of what my DPI is right now. If I press it, you're going to see it go a lot farther, a lot faster. I do it again, it's going to go crazy. And then I do it again, it's super slowed. So this is 400 DPI. I sometimes will play on 400 DPI depending on the op I'm playing. If I'm running an ACOG, I want 400 DPI because I'm zoomed in, which I want the most control, little movements. If I'm not running ACOG, I typically run 600. That's what this is, 600. It's a little higher, still allows me to move somewhat quick, gives me that control. And then there's 800 and 1000, which I never run. I just have it just because you might use it sometimes. I don't know. Mouse scroll enabled, because why wouldn't you want to switch weapons by scrolling your mouse? Gadget deployment advanced. I mean, most of these are just basic settings everybody. Drone deployment advanced, that's so that you throw the drone, you don't instantly jump on it. You actually manually pull it out and look at your drone yourself. Aim, hold. Again, I don't want to press the button, aim, press the button to, you know, stop ADSing. Lean, I keep that on toggle because I don't want to hold lean nonstop. So sprint is on hold. Again, I don't want to have to touch sprint again to stop. Crouch is on toggle, walk is on toggle, walk is on hold. I mean, this again, like, you're not wanting to walk all the time. It's just a situational thing, so that's why you want that. Customized controls. I run really weird things. So text to chat is my T. Text to chat on just my team is Y. If I want to just send a text, I press my enter button and that opens my text, and then I can, that's a send text. I'm sorry, God, my mind's all over the place. Push to talk I keep on U just because I never use it, and I use my keyboard tilted sideways so I can reach up while gaming and hit U with my thumb if I need to. I use my thumb for a lot more, and that's the reason for my settings here. Move forward, left, right, back, WASD, standard, right? Strafing left and right. That's just, you know, side to side movement. Where lean left and lean right. These are going to be Q and E, which I think works for most people but sucks, because if I have to peek back and forth, like if I'm on a quick peek, I can't peek by using Q and then move left by using A at the same time. However, that's why I changed it to V and B, so I can still use my keys for movement and use my thumb for V and B, so I can peek quickly while moving. It doesn't slow me down. It just takes time getting used to that. Sprint, that's shift, you know, hit it with the pinky. Navigate, most of these is just what you're always going to use. C, crouch, just quick reach down. Prone, control. You can set crouch up to where it's holding C. I just don't do that. Control's its own button. It's easier to hit. Alt for my walk. I rarely ever walk, so it is a little bit awkward to hit this. However, I don't do it much. Shoot, you know, left mouse button. Aim, right mouse button. Reload, R. Just makes sense. Interact with things. F, you know, picking up rook armor and things like that. F, melee attack. Since I'm not using V and B for any of that, I use Q. So just a quick, right there, quick fast movement. I can melee somebody if they're in my face. Primary gadget, I use my middle mouse button. So when I click down on my mouse, that'll pull out my gadget. Secondary gadget is the forward button on my mouse. So I would use my thumb to be able to press this button, and what that'll do is throw my grenades, my flashbangs, things like that. Observation tools, 4. Again, like, you don't have to get on cams that much, so when I do, I just hit 4. Drone deploy is my back mouse button, just because, again, like, I'm in the middle of a gunfight, I want to throw a drone real quick, I don't want to have to press a number button up top or any weird key, and just, it's on my mouse, it's quicker and it's easier. I also use that for getting off cams, so if I'm on a cam and I'm getting pushed, I can just quickly hit that back button on my mouse. Primary weapon 1, 2, you don't really need to change any of this. And I also use E for pinging. Again, I want to be able to ping quickly. Like in the middle of a gunfight, I want to just ping. I don't want to have to feel and find that key. I don't want it to be awkward. Weapon swap, I never use this. I just scroll my mouse. Drop diffuser, again, you don't do that much. So that can be just something that you throw on any key that's anywhere else that you don't want to use frequently. Change operator, that's just to go back into the title screen and change your not the title screen, the selector screen, and change your operator. I just keep it at 7. Same thing for most of my observation tools. I'll just go through these. I won't specify any of this. Most of this is just stock. It's still stock. Like, all of this is stock. So whatever it is, a default, that's what you should run. Vibration enabled. I don't use controllers, so none of these controller things matter. Yeah, I mean, privacy, you know, you can set up some of these things. You most likely don't need to, but it's there. I will say this. Optic color set up to a color that's easy to see. Most people use red. Red's what's normal, you know, so I would advise using red. I use purple, being colorblind, it helps. Optic opacity, you want it down to about 70%. I'd say 60 to 80, just so it doesn't, it's not covering up too much. Like you can still see through it while shooting. Screen shake, keep that off because things blow up. You don't want it to make it harder for you to see and aim. Motion blur, I keep it on. I would have it off, but with the dark glare stun VFX on, it gives you like a really weird thing whenever you get hit. I don't know why it does it, but I don't like that at all. Now, here's a big change. Your team color is normally blue and the opposing team is normally red. So what I would advise doing is setting this to orange and then changing your team to red and then the opposing team to blue. And the reason why is if you are, you know, if your team color is red, you're going to place down a claymore. Let's just say that, right? But if it's not red to you. So if you see an enemy claymore, opposing team's claymore, it's going to be a blue light. If the enemy team color is red and it's on a red carpet, you're not going to see that laser. And so many red carpets are in the game. So I think a blue laser is so much easier to see on everything. Capcan traps, claymores, like any gadget, having it set to where it's blue instead of red just makes it easier for you to visually see the difference. So that's the only reason why I had this set up that way. All of this, I mean, yeah, you don't want any of that. Yeah, I think that's mostly everything. I would just... I'll go into the shooting range and show you what I mean about the different settings and what that changes. This is already a 17-minute thing I'm showing. Okay, that's wonderful. I'm gonna do it with Doc because I love Doc. Okay, I'm not gonna change the whole game settings and stuff like that, the 8.8 to 88 and all that, like what I'm looking at, but this is like my normal sensitivity. It's easy for me to control. This is what I run, this is what it looks like, you know. And this is at 600 DPI. If I go to like 1,000, you can see how like impossible it kind of is to aim. Like I would not be able to game like this, and that's, I'm just moving my wrist. Like I haven't picked my wrist up off the table and I can move this quick. It's just not, that's not playable. This is 400 DPI. This is what pros play on, and at this point I'm having to use like my whole mouse pad to move. But you know, some people like this. I can't aim quite as good because of how hard I have to pull down. I play on 600. I feel like it's a good balance, you know. That's just what I play on. Then you even have like 800, which starts getting high. This is what I used to play on. I don't know how I did it. Even like this is wrist movement. 1,000 wrist, 400 wrist, 600 wrist. So you can see like the difference with just your mouse DPI and why that matters. Okay, now I was talking about going sniper mode. So you see, I mean, like I can kind of see that. It might work better with this target. You know, he's kind of small. His head's very small in the distance. Like I could hit this, but it's a little harder. If I go in and I will first only change, can't change anything. If I only change field of view, it's going to look like this, which brings him a little closer. Sure, it's an easier target to hit, but see how everything's closer to me? I'm not going to look. You see how I can just barely read 30 meters on the side of my screen? If I go in now and change that back to 90, you'll see how much more screen I see. Yeah, you see, so I got like a major gap. Like I can see all the way here now. That's like a lot more screen on both sides that you can see. So that's why I run 90. Another thing that I want to look at while we're here, 1610. So normally you run on 16:9, which again you can see that it now looks taller, right? Like it makes him a little smaller, but I don't have much room to hit here. That's the reason why I run 1610, is because it stretches it down a little bit. Like you can see that change. It stretches it, and I have a little bit wider of a target, just a little bit. I feel like it just feels better, especially when moving. Makes me feel faster. It's good for a lot of things. And then there is 4-3. This is what pros use. I don't like playing like this. Like, you can see how it makes it stretched a lot more. It's playable, just not my preference. Unless I go, as I said, you know, my sniper mode, I do that and then I stack it with 60. And now that small target is a massive target. You see, just like this is what I do when I spawn peek. And also because of how quick this is, I will drop down to 400 DPI so I have more control. That way I can hit my one taps if I didn't suck. So yeah, that's what I do. That's why I run what I run. You know, we'll go back to 1610 and at 90. I just feel like this is the perfect balance for most gameplay. This is now a 21-minute clip. Hopefully this 21-minute video will help you figure out what you want.